Hello, everybody. My name is Kumar, and today we will be reviewing our 12th installment of the first season of Bubble Guppies. Season 1, Episode 12, Gup, Gup, and Away. In this episode, the Bubble Guppies learned about taking off in an airplane. Now, this episode, I would always get so excited when this episode come on. Any concept of characters going on airplanes or trips, stuff like that, I love it so much. It's really good. Like any single time, I would always watch this episode before I would go on vacation because I don't know, it just gives off those vibes, you know? Okay, so our episode starts with so used to Molly and Gil, Dima and Gil, which is a really unique combination, swimming to school until they hear something in the sky. And then they go on over, they follow the noise, and it turns out it's an airplane. And then they swim themselves to an airport. And then they meet a pilot captain who explains that she flies the plane and that she has a golden wing on her chest, which you can tell that she's the pilot. And then so cutely, after learning about airplanes and how cool they are, they decide to pretend to swim to school, pretending to be airplanes, which is really, really cute. And then we get into the classroom, and then we have them both flying, and then I like the detail when Mr. Grouper plays along, and he's like, "This is Mr. Grouper to Pilot Dima. You're clear for landing. You too, Gil," which is really, really cute. I love it when he just plays along with the Guppies' little antics when they come in the classroom. Like I said, I love me some wholesome Mr. Grouper vibes. I'll keep on saying that. So then the Guppies explain. We go to the question segment, and we explain what do airplanes do? And then we have the pop song We're Gonna Fly. Like, it's really, really catchy. Like, super duper catchy. Like, and all the visuals are just so I love them so much, all the visuals. And then we have our shop segment, which is airport, and Nani's holding these cute two little shrimp who are going on vacation. And then we have Gobi running just like the previous episode, we have Gobi running the shop. And then he puts the shrimp in an airplane. And then I like how the plane company is called Shrimpy Airlines. It's so cute. But then there's a couple of things that are missing from the airplane. You know? This scene reminds me of a Lego set, you know? Like building it together. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But some things are missing, and I like it how it's up to the viewers to help Gobi to see what's missing from the plane so that the shrimp can take off. And then, I really like the segment. And then we have our lunch joke, which is a plain bagel, I like it. And I like how Nani's like, a bagel. And then Dimma says, what kind? And then he said, plain. Which, that was really clever. That is clever. And then we have our Molly and Gil segment, and then we have like this built-in plane seating in the background of their little segment area. And then Gil's playing around with the seat, and he goes backward, forward, and then he messes around too much, and then his head gets slammed between the seat, which I know that was painful. And then we have our head back to classroom. And then all the Guppies are playing plane, and Gobi is the pilot, but not just any pilot, a pirate pilot, which I can tell this kid has an obsession with pirates. We could tell he pretended to be a pirate in Who's Gonna Play the Big Bad Wolf, and he did a play with Dima, which that was really, really cute. And then Gil wants to sit in the front with Gobi, and Mr. Grouper said that's called the co-pilot. And then we have another segment which explains more about what planes do. And then we have our dance song, which is the airplane dance. And you know, it's really, really catchy, especially that part when it goes, everybody let me hear that engine roll, let me hear that engine roll, let me hear that engine roll, which I love that part as a kid. It was just so so catchy, super duper catchy. And then we have our storybook segment, which is Flight to Treasure Island. Every single time I hear that name, I always think of Disney. I'm sorry. I love me some Treasure Island. Okay, and then we have a pirate pilot, but not Gobi, a different character, following Una and Nani, who are in a plane going to Treasure Island. And it turns out the pilot keeps on following them and following them and following them. And I like how there's a little bit of threat in there, which says that there's a little bit of threat in there because they turn out to run out of gas. And then I like how Nani directs the viewers of what things to catch. I mean, what buttons to press to help the plane get away from the pilot. And then once they finally made it to Treasure Island, the pilot catches them and they found them. And then he actually wanted to show them some treasure. He actually wanted to show them the treasure. And then it turns out they're golden wings. And then towards the end of the story, they make him their pirate co-pilot, which is really, 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 really nice of them. And then we have another Molly and Gil segment. And then this one always makes me laugh every single time I see it. Okay, so he's not playing with his seat again because Molly told him, remember what happened last time? And he says he's just trying to get comfortable. And his seat's not going forward. And then he keeps on pressing it too many times, and then the seat, it starts shaking in the back, and then it flings him out of the chair. And oh man, that was so funny. Oh God. And then we have our field trip segment, which is to the airport. And then the Guppies, at the time, they're just looking at the window. I always love looking at those windows at the airport. I always did. And then we have Molly and Gil saying hi to the pilot because ironically she's in the plane that they're looking up at right now. And then they explain to their friends that that's their friend, the co-pilot, and she runs the whole airplane. And then Gil and Dima wish that they were on that same plane too with her. And then ironically at that very moment, an announcer on the intercom airport says that passengers Dima and Gil, your flight is now boarding at gate Blue 9. And then they're like, what flight? And then it turns out they start saying the other Guppies' names. And then turns out they're all going on the plane, which I'm guessing Mr. Grouper did that for them. Nobody else? Just me? Okay. All right. But then we get a little bit of a teeny bit of conflict with what door they should go by. Because, and I like it. It gives the viewers a sense of memory of what the lady said on the intercom. And Gil asks, what door is gate Blue 9? And then they made it through gate Blue 9, and then they go on their flight. And then we have the reprise of We're Gonna Fly. And then I like it how it goes, oh yeah, we're on a plane. Which I love the whole concept. But a teeny bit of animation there. The Guppies keep on changing their seat. But when we do see them inside the plane, I like the little detail of Mr. Grouper sitting next to Nani, that's really, really sweet. I like that, all the other Guppies are very confident. I mean, Dima and Gil are sitting next to each other, maybe it's just because of the main characters in this episode. But, yeah, I like the little detail. And then the pilot comes mid-song, and then she gives the Guppies their own pair of wings, which is really, really nice. And then they fly off. Who knows where they're going? I wish we would have seen where they're going. They just fly off into the sky. Well, technically, would I be going too in-depth when I say they might be flying to the surface since they're underwater? No? Oh, okay. And then we have our last Molly and Gil segment, and then Molly reminisces of how happy that they are that they got the golden wings. And then Gil got his own little present, and then he got I don't know what they're called, those little light sticks that people use at the airport to direct the planes to where to go. And then Molly's aren't those supposed to conduct the plane? I think that's what she said. Don't correct me on that. I'm sorry. And then he was like, I know, but look, they light up, and those aren't no toy, because as he's like, yeah, we're gonna fly. Fly. I'm telling you, the plane is big. I'm this scared. Like this scene made me jaw drop as a kid. I'm telling you, like it made me jaw drop. And Molly's, I mean, and then luckily he ran and was able to swim back next to Molly. Like, oh, if he didn't show up on screen in that last moment, I would have been like, is he alive? Is he okay? Like, oh God, my. But yeah, what a crazy ending. So overall, this episode was so much fun. As somebody who loves planes, this episode was so sentimental to me as a kid, and it really brought in the vacation vibes for me personally. So yeah, very good episode, and I loved it. So tune in with me next time as we will be reviewing season 1, episode 13. The spring chicken is coming. See you all next time.